Drink driving might be on the decline compared to only a few years ago, but it's still a very significant issue and one of the leading causes of road trauma.
And while there'll always be drivers who blatantly flout the law, you might be surprised to know that the most commonly recorded alcohol breath analysis is from those drivers who are just a little over the legal limit.
In Victoria, that limit is 0.05% for fully licensed drivers. That means 50 milligrams of alcohol for every 100 millilitres of blood.
Generally, it's advised that male adults may consume no more than 2 standard drinks in the first hour and 1 each hour thereafter.
For female adults, it's 1 standard drink per hour.
The differences relate to the differences in metabolic rates between men and women. Basically, men can process alcohol more quickly than women, but other factors, including your weight, age and general health, can play a crucial part in determining how alcohol affects you.
And how it can impair your driving.
Over the next few hours, Andrea and Reid will test their reactions sober, then after the accepted number of standard drinks to see how alcohol impairs their coordination. All testing will be carried out in a controlled environment, breath testing will be performed by a qualified paramedic, and both drivers will be chauffeured home at the conclusion of testing. The first exercise will test reaction time in an emergency braking scenario. From 60 km an hour, our instructor will ask the driver to stop as quickly as possible. The reaction time and braking distance will be checked sober after 1 hour and again after a second hour.
The second test is a swerve and avoid test. The driver will be presented with a series of lights indicating a swerve to the left, to the right, or a straight line stop. We'll check both drivers' ability to process and complete the task sober, then see how well they do after a couple of drinks. In our first test, braking from 60 km an hour, Reid achieved a stopping distance of 15.42 metres, while I managed 16.85 metres. It's a fairly typical result, but one that increased dramatically as the effects of a couple of drinks took their toll.
After the first hour, and after 2 standard drinks, Reid's reaction time jumped almost 0.2 of a second, increasing his overall stopping distance by 1.4 metres. Andrea's reaction time was better at just more than 1/10 of a second, which added 70 centimetres to her stop. Keep in mind, however, Andrea has only had 1 standard drink at this time.
It might not seem like a big deal, but it could mean the difference between stopping and not stopping in time to miss what's in front of you. Think about that whichever way you will, and then consider the results at the end of our second hour.
After 2 hours and just 2 standard drinks, Reid's reaction time blew out to almost half a second. The delay in reaction meant he took an additional 3.15 metres to stop. For Andrea, and again after just 1 additional drink, a further 0.2 of a second were added to her reaction time, stretching her stopping distance by 1.37 metres over her sober result.
The results were equally alarming in the second exercise. With driver reaction to the light box slowing, the ability necessary to safely avoid incident deteriorated. After my second drink, my reaction time dropped to more than half a second, while for Reid the delay was longer, resulting in an uncontrolled slide and collision with the earth bank at the end of the field.
Even at the relatively slower speeds on test, the results of our test are quite alarming. It's worth remembering that the small errors witnessed here would be dramatically magnified at highway speeds when there's even less time to react.
At 110 km an hour, you're covering 30.5 metres per second. With reaction times impaired by alcohol, it's easy to understand how the additional distance you'll travel before hitting the brake can substantially increase your risk of having an accident.
With the festive season upon us, the motoring team asks that you rethink your decision to drink before jumping in the car.
With your loved ones on board and traffic conditions unlike those of your weekday commute, it's important you understand how alcohol may impair your driving, even when you're within the legal limit.